Sweetheart, you're too soft to get what we do. Hell, I bet you think warfare's just a word on a recruiting poster. The voice cuts through the Friday night noise of the Anchor bar like a blade through silk. Fergus stands at the center of the room, beer bottle raised, grin wide enough to show teeth. Around him, 40 Navy SEALs in civilian clothes turn to watch, some already laughing, some waiting to see if the show gets better. Donatella doesn't look up from the glass she's drying. The bar rag moves in slow circles. Her breathing stays even. 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out. The kind of rhythm that doesn't come from yoga apps or meditation podcasts. The kind drilled into muscle memory when staying calm means staying alive. It's 10 p.m. on a Friday, 300 meters from the Niçablar base gate. The Anchor's been the unofficial SEAL watering hole for 15 years. Wood paneling dark with age, neon beer signs casting red and blue across faces that have seen sand and salt and things they don't talk about in mixed company. Tonight the place is packed shoulder to shoulder, music thumping from speakers that have blown out twice and been duct-taped back together. The smell of spilled lager and fried jalapeno poppers thick in the air. Fergus takes a step closer to the bar. 26 years old. SEAL Team 3. The kind of operator who's good enough to stay alive but not seasoned enough to know when his mouth is writing checks, his skill set can't cash. He's wearing a faded band shirt and jeans. Dog tags visible against his chest because he likes people to know. "I'm serious," he continues, louder now, playing to the crowd. "You pour drinks and wipe tables. What could you possibly understand about downrange operations? About making calls when everything's on fire and your brothers are bleeding?" Brett joins in from the pool table. 27. Hollywood, they call him because he can't resist an audience. "She probably thinks SEAL stands for SeaWorld, you know, the aquarium show with the tricks." Laughter rolls through the room. Not cruel yet, just the casual kind that happens when men are drinking and someone provides entertainment, but it has weight, the kind that presses down on whoever's in the center of the joke. Donatella sets the glass down. Her hand moves to the next one. 3 fingers on the neck of a beer bottle she's clearing from the bar top. Not the grip civilians use, not wrapped around the body or clutched from the top. 3 fingers, tactical. The way you hold something when you need control and might need to use it as a weapon if the situation turns. She shifts it to the trash bin. The motion takes less than 2 seconds. Master Chief Frank Dawson watches from the corner booth. 62 years old, retired SEAL Team 2, the original frogmen back when the community was smaller and the missions were quieter. He sits in shadow with a whiskey he's been nursing for an hour. His eyes track Donatella's hands. The way she moves, the way her weight shifts when Fergus steps closer. Wrong for a bartender, right for someone who's spent time in rooms where the exits matter more than the drinks. He leans toward Tom Briggs, the bar owner, 50-something, Army Ranger back in the 90s. Scar across his jawline from Mogadishu that he doesn't talk about. Tom's wiping down bottles behind the bar, close enough to Donatella to step in if needed, but far enough to let her handle it. "She moves wrong," Dawson murmurs, his voice barely audible under the music. Tom doesn't look at him, just nods once. "I know." Back at the bar, Fergus is still holding court. "Seriously though, you seem like a nice girl, but stick to what you know. Leave the heavy lifting to people built for it." Cole Hendricks speaks up from the side. 35. Senior Chief, 14 years in. The kind of operator who's survived long enough to know ego kills more people than bullets. He's leaning against the jukebox with his arms crossed, watching Donatella with interest that's different from the others, not mocking, curious. "You know what suppressor means, sweetheart?" Fergus asks. "Or do you call it a silencer like in the movies?" Donatella reaches for another glass. Her voice comes out quiet, flat. "Suppressor reduces acoustic signature. Silencer's Hollywood terminology. Doesn't actually make weapons silent." The room goes quiet for half a beat. Fergus blinks. Brett stops mid-laugh. Cole's eyebrows go up. Then Fergus recovers, grins wider. "Google's a beautiful thing, isn't it? You can learn all sorts of trivia without actually knowing anything real." The laughter comes back, louder this time. Someone whistles. The moment passes. But Cole keeps watching, his expression unreadable. Donatella's hand dips below the bar for half a second. When it comes back up, there's a fresh rag. But in that brief moment, Dawson catches sight of something. Knuckles wrapped in athletic tape, medical grade. The kind you use when joints are healing from impact. Not kitchen accidents, not gym mishaps. Impact. Fergus orders another round. Donatella pours without commentary. Her movement's efficient, no wasted motion. She sets bottles in front of the group with the labels facing out, exactly aligned, the kind of precision that doesn't come from hospitality training. "So what's your story anyway?" Brett asks. He's leaning on the bar now, chin on his fist, fake earnest. "Small town girl, big city dreams, moved out here for the California sunshine. Does it matter?" Donatella's voice is quiet. She doesn't look up from the tap. "See, that's what I mean," Fergus jumps back in. "No story, no background. Just another civilian coasting through life while we're out there holding the line." Marcus Walsh sits at a table in the back corner. 32, SEAL veteran. 8 years in before moving to support roles. He's been quiet all night, phone in his hand, screen angled away from the others. His thumb moves across the keyboard in short bursts. Not texting a girlfriend, not scrolling social media. The motion is too deliberate, too focused. No one notices. All eyes are on Donatella. "You know what the real issue is?" Fergus sets his empty bottle down hard enough to make a sound. "People like you don't get that there's a cost. Every mission, every deployment, we pay it so you can stand here safe and comfortable, judging us from behind your bar." "I'm not judging anyone," Donatella says. Still quiet, still calm. The rag in her hand keeps moving in circles across the wood. "Sure you are. I can see it in your eyes. You think we're just meatheads, knuckle draggers who couldn't hack college, so we joined the military. I never said that. You don't have to say it. It's written all over your face." Cole pushes off from the jukebox. "Fergus, give it a rest." "Why?" "She's the one acting like she's better than us. I think you've had enough for tonight." Fergus spins on him. "Don't pull rank on me at a bar, Senior Chief. We're off duty. And you're getting sloppy." The tension spikes. For a moment, it looks like it might turn into something else. Then Fergus laughs, throws his hands up. Fine. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. But sure, let's all pretend the bartender's feelings matter more than reality." He turns back to Donatella. "No hard feelings, sweetheart. Just calling it like I see it." She meets his eyes for the first time, holds his gaze for 3 seconds, doesn't speak, then goes back to wiping glasses. Fergus takes it as submission, grins like he's won, heads back to the pool table. If you've ever been underestimated because of how you look or where you work, you know this exact feeling. The weight of judgment from people who don't know your story. Hit that like button if you want to see where this goes. And if you appreciate stories about quiet strength and patience, the thanks button helps us keep bringing content that matters. The night rolls on. Music gets louder. Crowd gets drunker. Donatella keeps serving, keeps moving. At 11 p.m., Tom brings out a tray of wings from the kitchen, sets them on the bar. "You good?" he asks under his breath. "Fine." Fergus is pushing. "I noticed. Want me to cut him off?" "Not yet." Tom studies her face, then nods, heads back to the kitchen. Donatella distributes the wings to tables. When she reaches Fergus's group, Brett looks up with theatrical surprise. "Oh, wow, service with a smile. Or wait, that's not a smile, that's just your face, right?" Scattered laughter. Donatella sets the tray down, turns to leave. Fergus reaches out, doesn't touch her, just blocks her path with his arm. "Hold up. Question for you." She stops, waits. "You ever done anything that actually mattered? Like really mattered? Not just punching a clock and collecting tips. Something where if you failed, people died. Move your arm, please." "That's not an answer. You're drunk." "I'm honest." He drops his arm. "There's a difference between us. You know that, right? You exist in the world we create. We exist in the world that wants to destroy you. That's just facts." Donatella walks away. Behind her, Brett starts filming on his phone, pans across the bar, zooms in on Donatella's back as she returns to her station. "This is going to be gold," he mutters to Fergus. "Bartender who thinks she's hard." Fergus grins. "Do it. Show people reality." Brett uploads the clip to the Team 3 group chat. Within 5 minutes, there are 15 comments, most of them mocking, some crude, a few creative with their insults. The video gets shared to 2 other groups. By 11:30, 50 people have seen it. None of them know Donatella. All of them have opinions. At the bar, she's pulling drafts for a new wave of orders. Her phone sits face down next to the register. It buzzes 3 times. She doesn't check it, just keeps pouring. The breathing rhythm never changes. 4, 4, 4. like a metronome behind her ribs. Cole walks up, leans against the bar, orders a water. When she sets it in front of him, he doesn't drink immediately, just rotates the glass, watching condensation run down the sides. "You handled that well," he says, quiet enough that only she hears. Handled what? Fergus. He gets mouthy when he drinks. Most people snap back. No point. Why not? She doesn't answer, just moves to the next customer. But Cole doesn't leave. He stays planted, watching. When there's a lull, he speaks again. "You know things you shouldn't." "Excuse me?" The suppressor comment. That was specific, correct, not something you Google. "Maybe I read a lot." "Maybe." He takes a sip. "But reading doesn't explain your grip." "My grip?" "On bottles. On the rag. 3 points of contact, weight distribution. That's combatives training." Donatella meets his eyes. Her expression doesn't change. "You're imagining things." "Am I?" "You should drink your water. Stay hydrated." Cole watches her for another beat, then nods slowly. "Right, sure." He pushes off the bar, heads back to his table. But he keeps glancing over. The curiosity hasn't faded. It's grown teeth. At the back table, Marcus is still on his phone. The screen glow reflects off his face in the dim bar light. His messages are short, encrypted, sent to a number that doesn't appear in any of his contacts. The timestamp reads 11:42 p.m. He types 3 sentences, hits send, slides the phone into his pocket, picks up his beer like nothing happened. 30 feet away, above the bottles, a security camera records everything. The angle catches Marcus's table perfectly. The timestamp burns in the corner of the frame. Later, when people review the footage, they'll see exactly what he was doing. But right now, in this moment, no one's watching except the lens. Midnight arrives. Fergus orders another round. He's past drunk now, into that territory where volume replaces wit and aggression replaces charm. He waves Donatella over. She approaches with 5 fresh bottles balanced between her hands. "Question," Fergus says, slurring slightly. "How much do you make in a night, like with tips and everything?" "That's personal." "Come on, ballpark." "Why does it matter?" "Because I want to know what the going rate is for someone who contributes nothing." Brett snorts into his beer. 2 other guys at the table shift uncomfortably. Cole is standing near the dartboard now, watching. Not intervening yet, but ready to. Donatella sets the bottles down. "Your drinks?" "I'm serious. What's the value of standing behind a bar compared to operating in hostile territory? Put a number on it." "Fergus." Cole's voice cuts across the space. Warning. "What?" "I'm just curious about economics. You're being disrespectful. I'm being honest. There's a hierarchy in this world. Some people matter more than others. That's not mean. That's reality." Donatella turns to leave. Fergus stands up fast. The chair scrapes loud against the floor. He doesn't grab her, doesn't touch her, just moves into her path, close enough that she has to stop or collide with him. "Do you know what DevGru is?" he asks. She goes very still. "Yes." "Yeah? What is it?" "Naval Special Warfare Development Group." "And what do they do?" "Do high-value target operations, counterterrorism, direct action." Fergus's grin spreads. "Google again, right? You can recite facts, but you don't understand. You couldn't understand. Because you've never been there. Never felt what it's like when the rounds start flying and the only thing between you and a body bag is your training and your brothers." "You're right," Donatella says, voice flat. "I haven't felt that." "Exactly." Fergus steps aside. "Know your place, sweetheart. We're not the same species." She walks past him, back to the bar. Tom is there, jaw tight. Say the word, and he's gone. "It's fine." "It's not fine." 20 more minutes, then he'll leave on his own. Tom doesn't look convinced, but he doesn't push. Donatella returns to her station. The breathing continues, 444. In the corner, Dawson is standing now, his whiskey forgotten. He's moved closer, within 10 feet of the bar. His posture is different, alert, the way old warriors get when they smell smoke before seeing fire. 15 minutes later, Brett is back at the bar. He leans across the wood, phone in hand. "Hey, so people are loving that video. You're like a meme now, the bartender who thinks she knows things." Donatella doesn't respond. "Want to make it more interesting?" Brett continues. "Bet you $200 you can't do 20 push-ups. Real ones, not girl push-ups. Full military standard. I'm working. Come on, $200. That's good money for 30 seconds of effort. Or are you scared? Cole appears at Brett's shoulder. Let it go. Why? It's just a friendly bet. It's harassment. It's economics. She wants to prove she's tough. Here's her chance. Donatella wipes her hands on her apron, looks at Brett, then at the floor space near the jukebox. Clear that area. Brett's eyes go wide. Seriously? You offered. I'm accepting. The room goes electric. Word spreads fast. Within 30 seconds, there's a crowd forming. Someone moves chairs. Someone else turns down the music. Fergus pushes to the front, grinning like it's his birthday. This is going to be good. Donatella walks to the cleared space, removes her apron, folds it carefully, sets it on a chair. She's wearing a black shirt, jeans, work boots, nothing fancy, nothing tactical. She drops into position. Hands shoulder-width apart, back straight, feet together. On your count, she says. Brett starts recording. Okay, go. She performs 25 push-ups. Perfect form. Elbows tight to her body, chest touches the floor every rep. Breathing controlled. No shaking, no struggle. At 20, she could have stopped. She does 5 more, then rises to her feet, brushes dust off her hands. The room is silent for 3 seconds, then scattered applause, a few whistles. Cole is nodding slowly. Dawson has moved even closer. His eyes are locked on Donatella's hands, the way she controlled her descent, the way she exploded up. That's not gym fitness. That's operational conditioning. Brett lowers his phone. Okay, that was actually impressive. My $200, Donatella says. Yeah, sure. He pulls out his wallet, counts bills, hands them over. Where'd you learn to do that? Practice? Fergus steps in. Beginner's luck. Push-ups aren't combat, they're just exercise. Then why'd you challenge her? Cole asks. To prove a point. She can do push-ups. Great. Doesn't mean she understands what we do. You're moving goalposts, Cole says. I'm maintaining standards. The crowd starts dispersing. Show's over. People return to drinks and conversations, but the energy has shifted. Donatella is no longer just the bartender. She's something else. Not clear what, but different. Brett uploads the push-up video to the group chat. Comments start rolling in immediately. Half impressed, half skeptical. Someone posts, bet she's prior service. Someone else replies, receptionist maybe. Donatella puts her apron back on, returns to the bar. Tom gives her a look that says, we need to talk later, but doesn't say it out loud. She nods slightly. Message received. Cole approaches again, orders another water, waits until she sets it down before speaking. How long were you in? I'm not military. Don't insult my intelligence. She doesn't answer. You know terminology. You have conditioning, you move with situational awareness. You're either currently serving or you got out recently. Believe what you want. Why lie about it? I'm not lying. You're making assumptions. Cole studies her. If you were in, why hide it? Most veterans are proud. Maybe I'm not most veterans. Or maybe there's another reason. He leans closer, voice dropping. You know what NCIS does? Investigates military crimes. They've been sniffing around the base. Questions about OPSEC leaks. Information ending up in places it shouldn't makes people nervous. Why are you telling me this? Because your timing is interesting. You showed up 3 months ago, right when the investigation started. You don't talk about yourself, you deflect questions. You're either running from something or you're hunting something. Donatella meets his eyes. Which do you think I am? I think you're dangerous, just not sure to who. He takes his water and walks away. Donatella watches him go. The breathing stays even. 4, 4, 4. But behind the calm, something is tightening. Cole is smart, more observant than Fergus, more patient than Brett. If he keeps pushing, the timeline accelerates. Operation parameters shift. She needs Marcus to make his move before the scrutiny becomes a problem. At 12:30 a.m., Fergus is arguing with another SEAL about range qualification scores. His voice carries across the room, loud, antagonistic. He's past the point of filter, just raw ego and alcohol. I'm telling you, standards have dropped. They're letting people through who shouldn't pass. Participation trophy generation ruining everything. The other SEAL, younger, fresh out of buds, bristles. I qualified expert. On a basic range, big deal. You think that translates downrange? It's the same weapon system. It's not the same pressure, not the same stakes. You've never had someone shooting back. And you have? 3 deployments. Don't lecture me about combat. Cole moves to break it up, but Fergus is already escalating. He turns suddenly, scans the room, lands on Donatella, points. Tell you what, let's have her settle it. Random civilian, neutral opinion. Hey, bartender. Donatella looks up. Come here, need you to weigh in. I'm busy. It'll take 5 seconds. She walks over, reluctantly, stops at the edge of their table. What? Fergus gestures at his opponent. This kid thinks range scores matter. I'm saying real-world experience trumps everything. What do you think? I think you're drunk. That's not an answer. I think shooting paper targets is different from making decisions under fire. But scores still matter because they demonstrate fundamental skills. Both things are true. The young SEAL nods. See? Fergus glares. Whose side are you on? I'm not on a side. You asked for an opinion. Yeah, but I expected you to back experience over theory. Why would I do that? Because it's common sense. Donatella starts to turn away. Fergus reaches out. Doesn't grab her, but his hand hovers near her arm, close enough to make her freeze. Hold on, one more question. You ever been in a situation where you had to make a life or death call? Move your hand. Answer the question first. Cole is on his feet now, moving toward them. But before he arrives, Donatella speaks. Her voice is quiet, cold. The kind of cold that comes from controlled fury. Yes. Fergus blinks. Yes, what? Yes, I've made life or death calls. Yes, I understand pressure. Yes, I know what it costs. Move your hand. He drops it, steps back. For a moment, his expression flickers, uncertainty. Then the mask returns. Stolen valor is a crime, you know. I'm aware. You're claiming military service? I'm claiming I've answered your question. Are we done? Not even close. Fergus's voice gets louder. The room is listening again. You want to stand there and tell me you've seen combat? You? A bartender? I'm telling you to drop this conversation. Because you can't back it up. You're lying. Stolen valor. That's what this is. Will she break cover to defend herself or stay silent while he calls her a liar to her face? Drop a comment below with your prediction. And subscribe so you don't miss the next part because this situation is about to explode. Tom emerges from the back. His voice cuts through the noise. Fergus, you're done. Pay your tab and leave. I'm calling out a fraud and you're kicking me out? You're harassing my employee and you're drunk. That's 2 reasons. You want a third? Fergus looks around, sees Cole shaking his head, sees Brett packing up his phone, sees the room turning uncomfortable. He throws bills on the table. Fine, this place is trash anyway. But he doesn't leave. Not yet. He walks to the bar, leans across, gets close enough to Donatella that she can smell the beer on his breath. I know you're lying, he says, low, threatening. I don't know why or what your angle is, but you're a fake, and I'm going to prove it. Count on that. She doesn't respond, doesn't blink, just stares back with eyes that hold nothing. No fear, no anger, just emptiness, the kind that comes from seeing worse things than drunk SEALs in bars. Fergus holds her gaze for 5 seconds, then breaks, steps away, heads for the door. Brett and 2 others follow. The group leaves in a cloud of noise and bravado. The moment the door closes, the pressure in the room drops. People exhale. Conversations resume. The music gets turned back up. Tom approaches Donatella. You okay? Fine. He's going to be a problem. I know. Want me to ban him? No, he needs to come back. Tom frowns. Why? She doesn't answer. Just resumes wiping glasses. The rhythm returns. 4-4-4. In the corner, Dawson is still watching. He's seen enough combat to recognize a trap when it's being set. He doesn't know the specifics, doesn't know the players or the operation, but he knows bait when he sees it. And he knows hunters who are willing to bleed themselves to draw prey close. He finishes his whiskey, leaves cash on the table, walks to the bar, catches Donatella's eye for 1 second, nods once. She nods back, understanding passing between them without words. Then he's gone, out into the California night. The bar closes at 2 a.m. Last customers filter out. Tom locks the door, flips the sign, starts stacking chairs. Donatella wipes down surfaces, collects glasses. Neither speaks for 10 minutes. The silence is comfortable. The kind people who trust each other can share. Finally, Tom breaks it. How much longer? Days. Maybe a week? And then? Then it's over. One way or another. One way or another. He stops stacking, looks at her. I'm going to ask you something, and I want a real answer. Okay. Are you in danger? Donatella rinses a glass, sets it upside down to dry. Always. That's the job. Is it worth it? Do you remember Mogadishu? He touches his jaw, the scar. Every day. Was that worth it? I was saving my brothers. Then you already know my answer. Tom nods slowly, doesn't ask more questions. They finish cleaning in silence. At 2:30 a.m., Donatella hangs her apron, grabs her jacket. Tom walks her to the back door. Tomorrow night? He asks. Tomorrow night. He'll be back. I'm counting on it. She steps into the alley. The door closes behind her with a solid metal thunk. Above, stars are hidden behind coastal fog. The sound of distant traffic filters through the darkness. She walks 3 blocks to a studio apartment above a laundromat, climbs the stairs, unlocks the door. Inside, the space is sparse. Mattress on the floor, folding table, 2 chairs, a laptop closed and locked. On the wall, a calendar with dates crossed off. 87 days so far. The apartment has no personality, no photos, no decorations. It's a shell, a skin she wears for the mission. Nothing more. She sits at the table, opens the laptop, types a password. The screen fills with encrypted messages. She composes a brief report. Status update. Fergus making his move. Cole suspicious but manageable. Marcus transmitted twice during the incident. Timestamps attached. She hits send. The message vanishes into the digital dark. Then she stands, removes her shirt. In the bathroom mirror, under fluorescent light, her reflection stares back. The tattoo is visible. Center of her chest. Devgru Trident. The scar tissue from an IED runs along her ribs like a roadmap of past decisions. She touches it gently. The flesh is healed but still tender. Some wounds close. Some don't. You learn to carry both. She showers, dresses in shorts and a tank top, lies on the mattress, stares at the ceiling. Tomorrow, Fergus will tell his story. The video will spread, the narrative will build, and Marcus will keep transmitting because he thinks the chaos provides cover. He doesn't understand that chaos is the point, that every insult, every challenge, every moment of public humiliation is designed to make him comfortable, to convince him the operation failed before it started, that the bartender is just a bartender, soft, civilian, no threat at all. She closes her eyes. 4, 4, 4. The breathing follows her into sleep. Saturday arrives with coastal fog and the weight of unfinished business. Donatella wakes at 6 a.m., runs 5 miles through empty streets, returns to the apartment, showers, eats oatmeal standing at the counter, checks encrypted messages, 3 new ones overnight, command confirming resources in position, NCIS ready to move on her signal, timeline compressed. Marcus transmitted 4 times after leaving the bar, each message tracked, each recipient identified. The network is bigger than one operator, but Marcus is the anchor. Pull him and the rest unravels. She dresses for the shift, black jeans, black shirt, boots with grip, hair pulled back tight. In the mirror, she practices the face. Calm, neutral. The mask civilians wear when they don't know danger is standing next to them. It takes effort now. 3 months of wearing it and the seams are starting to show. But tonight is the last night. One way or another, the operation concludes. At 4 p.m., she walks to the anchor. Tom is already there, prepping the bar, slicing limes, stocking beer. He looks up when she enters. Big night, he says. Last night. You sure? Marcus transmitted again. He's confident, thinks the chaos yesterday gave him cover. He'll do it again tonight. Commander Hayes has the net ready. We just need him to transmit one more time with enough people watching. Tom sets down his knife. And if Fergus doesn't show? He'll show. Ego won't let him stay away. What if it goes sideways? Then I adapt. He studies her face, looking for cracks, finds none. You're cold when you're working. I have to be. Just remember there's warmth on the other side. Don't forget how to find it. She ties on her apron. I won't. The evening shift starts slow. Regulars trickle in, sailors from the base, contractors, civilians who like the military atmosphere without the commitment. Donatella serves drinks, makes small talk, watches the door. At 8 p.m., the Saturday crowd arrives, louder than Friday. More energy. People looking to blow off steam after a long week. Music gets turned up. Pool tables fill. Dartboards occupied. At 9:30 p.m., Fergus walks in. Brett and 3 others trail behind him. They grab a table near the back, order a round. Fergus scans the room, spots Donatella, grins, says something to Brett that makes the group laugh. She watches from the corner of her eye, keeps serving. The breathing stays controlled. 4-4-4. Cole arrives 20 minutes later, sits at the bar, orders whiskey neat. He doesn't acknowledge Fergus's group, just sips slowly, watching the room with the attention of someone who's learned to read danger in body language and silence. "Thought you might take a night off," he says to Donatella. "Bills don't pay themselves." "Fair enough." He rotates his glass. "You know Fergus is telling everyone you claim stolen valor." "I know. That's a serious accusation." "It is. You could clear it up, show proof of service if you have it." "I could. But you won't." "No." "Why not?" She meets his eyes. "Because the people who need to know already do, and the people making accusations wouldn't believe evidence anyway. They've decided what's true. Facts won't change that." Cole nods slowly. Spoken like someone who's dealt with this before. Spoken like someone who's tired of performing for strangers. He raises his glass. "I'll drink to that." Across the room, Fergus is getting louder. 3rd beer in 30 minutes. His voice carries over the music. "I'm telling you, it's insulting." She stands there acting like she's been through hell. Meanwhile, real operators are actually doing the work. Brett films again, panning across the bar, catching Donatella in the background. The video goes to the group chat immediately. Comments start piling up. Confront her. Make her admit it. Stolen valor needs consequences. At 10 p.m., Marcus arrives. He doesn't join Fergus's table, takes a booth alone, orders a beer, pulls out his phone. The screen casts blue light across his face. His thumbs move in familiar patterns, short bursts, encrypted syntax. Above him, the security camera records every angle, time stamp burning in the corner. Outside, in an unmarked sedan, 2 NCIS agents watch a live feed, waiting for the signal. The bar reaches capacity, standing room only, bodies pressed close, conversations overlapping into white noise. Donatella moves through the crowd with trays balanced, taking orders, delivering drinks. Her situational awareness is constant. Every exit mapped, every potential threat assessed. Cole watching from the bar, Fergus drinking with intent, Marcus transmitting in the corner. Dawson hasn't arrived yet, but she knows he will. He's been coming every Friday and Saturday for months. Routine is religion for old warriors. At 10:45 p.m., Dawson walks in, takes his corner booth, orders whiskey, settles into shadow. His eyes find Donatella immediately. She gives a slight nod. He returns it. Then they both wait. 11 p.m. hits and the energy shifts. Alcohol reaching critical mass, inhibitions lowering. Fergus stands, walks to the bar, leans across the wood, close enough that Donatella can smell the beer again. "So I've been thinking," he says, voice loud enough for people nearby to hear, "about yesterday, about your claims." "I didn't claim anything." "You said you'd made life or death calls. That's claiming combat experience." "I answered a question. With a lie." "Move back. You're in my workspace." "Not until you admit it. You lied. You pretended to be something you're not. That's stolen valor. That's a federal crime." Tom appears. "Fergus, final warning. Step away." "Or what? You'll kick me out for asking questions?" "I'll kick you out for harassment." "This isn't harassment. This is accountability." Cole slides off his stool, moves toward them. "Let it go." "Why does everyone keep protecting her?" Fergus spins to face the room, addresses the crowd. "This woman claims military service but won't provide proof. She uses terminology she Googled. She performs party tricks like push-ups and acts like that means something. And when called out, she hides behind the bar owner and senior enlisted. Why? What's she hiding?" The room goes quiet. All eyes on Donatella. She stands motionless, tray in hand, face neutral. The breathing continues. 444. Inside her chest, her heart rate stays below 70. Training, discipline, the ability to remain calm when everyone expects you to break. Brett films. Marcus glances up from his phone, types faster. 3 sentences. Hit send. The message leaves his device, travels through encrypted channels, gets intercepted by NCIS monitoring equipment, triangulated, logged. The evidence stack grows. Well? Fergus pushes. Got anything to say? I have work to do. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. He laughs, sharp, mocking. See? She can't defend herself because there's no defense. She's a fraud, plain and simple. Donatella sets the tray down, unties her apron, folds it carefully, sets it on the bar. Tom watches her with concern. Cole moves closer. The room holds its breath. You want proof? She asks, voice quiet. That's what I've been asking for. Then follow me outside, away from cameras and witnesses. I'll show you exactly what I am. Fergus blinks. What? You heard me. Outside. Just you and me. You want to know if I'm real? Find out. That's not how this works. No? I thought you wanted accountability. Thought you wanted truth, or do you only want an audience? His face flushes. I'm not going anywhere alone with you. Then stop running your mouth. Brett hoots. She called you out. Fergus spins on him. Shut up. Then back to Donatella. Fine. You want to do this here? Let's do it here. He steps around the bar, violating the boundary between customer space and workspace. Tom moves to intercept, but Donatella raises a hand. One gesture. It's fine. Tom stops but doesn't retreat, just watches, ready. Fergus stands close, invading personal space, using his height, his bulk, the physical intimidation that works on people who haven't been trained to ignore it. Show me your military ID. I don't carry it while working. Convenient. Show me your CAC right now, without going to your wallet. He hesitates. That's different. How? Because I'm not the one lying. You're the one making accusations without evidence. The evidence is your refusal to prove yourself. The evidence is you're drunk and looking for a fight you can't win with words, so you're trying intimidation. Something in Fergus snaps. The alcohol, the ego, the pressure of being challenged in front of his peers. He reaches out, grabs her shoulder, not hard enough to injure, but firm enough to be aggressive. Maybe you need someone to teach you respect. The room tenses. Cole is moving. Tom is reaching under the bar. Dawson is standing. But before anyone can intervene, Donatella reacts. Pure reflex, muscle memory taking over. Her hand comes up. Wrist control. Textbook. She rotates his arm at the joint. Not breaking, not damaging, just controlling. Redirecting force. Her other hand moves to his elbow, applying pressure to the nerve cluster. Fergus's eyes go wide. He tries to pull back. She follows the motion, staying with him, maintaining control. Then she releases and steps back, creating distance. Hands up, defensive posture. Fergus stumbles, off balance, angry, humiliated. He surges forward. You just assaulted me. You grabbed me first. That's battery. I defended myself within legal limits. Like hell! He reaches for her again, this time going for her collar. Intent clear. He's going to grab fabric, pull her close, prove his dominance through physical force. His hand closes on her shirt, grips tight, yanks hard. The fabric tears, not a small rip, a long diagonal tear from shoulder to chest. The sound cuts through the bar noise. Brett's phone captures everything. The crowd gasps. Fergus is holding torn fabric in his fist. Donatella stands with her shirt ripped open, exposing skin, exposing scars, exposing the tattoo. Center of her chest. Clear under the bar lights, Devgru trident, the symbol unmistakable, eagle-clutching anchor and trident and flintlock pistol. The ink dark against pale skin. Professional work, military precision. And surrounding it, running down her ribs, the scar tissue from shrapnel. Raised, textured, the kind of damage that comes from explosives. From being too close when the world turns to fire and metal. Fergus still has the torn fabric in his hand, still laughing, hasn't processed what he's seeing. There, now everyone can see you're just another. Stand down! The voice comes from the corner. Master Chief Dawson on his feet, moving forward, face carved from stone, finger pointing at Donatella's chest. at the tattoo, at the evidence that can't be faked. That's a DevGru trident. Stand down, son. The bar goes silent. Not quiet. Silent. The kind of absence of sound that happens when reality shifts and everyone needs a moment to process. Fergus looks down, sees the tattoo, sees the scars. His face drains of color. The torn fabric falls from his hand. Brett lowers his phone. Mouth open. Cole freezes mid-step, expression shifting from concern to recognition to something like awe. The crowd presses closer, phones come out, flashes firing, everyone wanting proof they witnessed this moment. Donatella stands still, breathing controlled. 444. She doesn't cover the tattoo, doesn't hide, just meets Fergus's eyes with absolute calm. You wanted proof, she says, quiet, level. There it is. The front door opens. Commander Patricia Hayes walks in, 40 years old, NCIS, wearing a windbreaker with agency identification visible. 2 agents flank her. They move through the crowd with authority that parts bodies like water. Operation concluded, Hayes announces, voice carrying to every corner. Nobody moves. NCIS investigation in progress. Cole snaps to attention. Muscle memory. Ma'am. Hayes nods at him. Then her eyes find Marcus. He's standing now, phone in hand, face pale. He starts toward the back exit. One of the agents intercepts, blocks his path. Sir, stay where you are. I'm not involved in whatever this is. Sir, we have footage of you transmitting classified information during this incident and 4 other occasions over the past 3 months. Put the phone on the table and place your hands where I can see them. Marcus looks at the phone, looks at the exit, calculates his options, finds none, sets the phone down, raises his hands. The agent moves in, handcuffs, Miranda rights. The process, mechanical and practiced. Hayes walks to the bar, looks at Donatella, at the torn shirt, at the tattoo, at the scars. Good work, Petty Officer Harper. We got him. The room explodes. Voices overlapping, questions shouted, phones recording from every angle. Hayes raises a hand. Everyone who's not law enforcement, exit the building now. This is an active crime scene. Tom starts herding people toward the door. They go reluctantly, still filming, still trying to capture more. Brett is pulled along with the crowd, phone still recording until an agent makes him stop. Cole remains, senior enlisted privilege. He approaches Donatella carefully, like approaching something dangerous that might still be friendly. Petty Officer Harper, he says, testing the name, the rank. Senior Chief. She acknowledges him properly now, the pretense gone. DevGru? Intelligence support, attached to teams for 3 years. 1 deployment went bad, IED in Helmand Province, took shrapnel, medical discharge but retained clearance for specialized operations. Like undercover work. Like undercover work. Cole looks at Fergus, still standing there, still processing. You grabbed a DevGru operator and called her stolen valor. Fergus can't speak, just stares. That might be the dumbest thing I've seen in 14 years of service, Cole continues. And I watched a boot camp private try to eat an MRE flameless heater. Hayes pulls out a tablet, displays footage, bar camera angle showing Marcus, timestamps visible, his fingers moving across the phone screen, encrypted messages sent during each major incident, during yesterday's confrontation, during tonight's escalation, using the chaos as cover, thinking no one was watching. Marcus Walsh, Hayes reads from her notes, 8-year veteran, currently assigned to logistics support, has access to shipping schedules, personnel movements, equipment manifests, been selling information to a foreign intelligence contact for 18 months. We've been tracking the network for 6 months, needed to identify the source. That's where Petty Officer Harper came in. She gestures at Donatella. 3 months ago, she volunteered for an undercover operation, took a job at this bar, played the civilian, let herself become a target. Why? Because we knew the source was a SEAL or SEAL adjacent, someone who frequented this establishment, someone who felt comfortable transmitting from this location. We needed him to feel safe, to get sloppy, to transmit during documented incidents where we could prove intent and capture content. Dawson approaches, stands next to Cole. His old eyes take in the tattoo, the scars, the evidence of service and sacrifice. I recognized her grip first night, he says. Told Tom. He confirmed she was working a job. Asked me to keep quiet. Tom nods. Hardest 3 months of my life, watching her take abuse, knowing why, knowing I couldn't stop it, Hayes continues. Every insult, every challenge, every moment of public humiliation was designed to create chaos, to make Marcus think he had cover, to make him comfortable enough to transmit real time, and it worked. We have 4 separate instances of him sending classified information during incidents involving Petty Officer Harper. That's pattern, that's intent, that's enough for court-martial. This is how justice works when it's done right. Not with explosions or dramatic speeches, with patience and precision and people willing to sacrifice their dignity for the mission. If this story hit you different, hit that share button. Let people see what real operators look like. And stay tuned, because there's one more piece to this puzzle. Cole turns to Fergus. You understand what you did? Fergus nods weakly. You assaulted a federal agent conducting an undercover operation. You destroyed government property. Cole points at the torn shirt. And you did it on camera in front of 40 witnesses while being specifically warned by multiple senior enlisted to stand down. What happens next is out of my hands, but if I were you, I'd be calling a lawyer. Hayes pulls Fergus aside, reads him his rights, not arresting him yet, just documenting, gathering statements. He cooperates mechanically. Shock overriding ego. Brett is brought back in, also interviewed, also cooperating. The magnitude of what they stumbled into settling over them like weight. Donatella excuses herself, goes to the back room, changes into a spare shirt Tom keeps for emergencies. When she returns, Hayes is finishing with Marcus. The agent is being escorted out, head down, hands cuffed behind his back, the phone bagged as evidence. We'll need your statement, Hayes says to Donatella. Full debrief, but that can wait until tomorrow. Tonight you've done enough. Did we get the network? Marcus was the anchor. Once we flip his contacts, we'll roll up the rest. You gave us everything we needed. Donatella nods. The relief doesn't show on her face. Can't. The operational mask is still in place, but inside something unclenches. 3 months of tension releasing all at once. Cole approaches again. Can I ask why you didn't tell me? Your reputation is solid, but reputations can be covers. I couldn't risk it. Fair. He extends his hand. For what it's worth, you're tougher than half the operators I've served with, and that's not a compliment I give lightly. She shakes his hand, grip firm. Thank you, Senior Chief. Call me Cole. We're off duty now. Dawson joins them. That tattoo, Helmand Province, 2014? 2013. I know someone who was there, Team 2. Said they worked with Intel support who saved 6 operators when an ambush went sideways. Stayed calm under fire, called in air support while treating wounded. That you? Donatella meets his eyes, doesn't confirm, doesn't deny, just holds his gaze. Dawson nods. Yeah, that's you. Don't need to say it. I can see it. The bar empties over the next hour. NCIS finishes processing the scene, takes statements, collects evidence. Hayes gives Donatella a card. Report to the office Monday morning, 0900. We'll do official debrief then. Take the weekend. Decompress. You've earned it. What about Fergus? He'll face administrative action, assault, destruction of property, conduct unbecoming, but given the circumstances and the fact you were undercover, the command will likely go lenient. Counseling, probation, maybe mandatory training on judgment and alcohol. He's not the real target here. Marcus is. And the video? Brett posted footage. Already scrubbed. NCIS contacted the platform. National security justification. The footage is classified now. Anyone who shared it gets a visit from agents with very serious faces. By Monday morning, it'll be like tonight never happened. Officially. Donatella nods. Understanding. The operation stays quiet. The network gets rolled up behind closed doors. Marcus faces military justice away from public eyes. Business as usual for the world of secrets. By 2 a.m., the bar is empty except for Tom and Donatella. They clean in silence. The routine familiar, comforting. When the last glass is put away, Tom pours 2 whiskeys, slides one across to her. You did it, he says. We did it. Couldn't have worked without you. Still, 3 months of abuse. I don't know how you didn't break. I wore their contempt like bait, she says quietly, the words coming easier now that the mission is over. Had to let him feel safe enough to transmit during chaos. Every insult made him comfortable. Every challenge convinced him I was weak. No threat, just a bartender who couldn't possibly understand his world. That was the whole point. Make him underestimate me so completely he'd get sloppy. Tom sips his whiskey. Did you ever want to blow your cover? Just shut Fergus up? Every single day. But the mission mattered more than my ego. Marcus was selling information that put real operators at risk. If showing weakness for 3 months meant stopping that, it was worth it. Still, that tattoo reveal, the look on Fergus's face. Yeah, a small smile. The first real emotion she's shown all night. That was satisfying. They finish their drinks, lock up the bar, stand in the alley under coastal fog. Tom looks at her. What's next for you? Depends on the debrief. If the network is as big as Hayes thinks, they might need me for more undercover work. If not, I'll go back to analyst work. Desk job, quiet. You miss it, operating? Every day. But shrapnel and medical discharges don't care what you miss. You adapt. You find new ways to serve. This operation proved I can still be useful, just in different capacity. Tom nods. Well, for what it's worth, you're welcome back behind my bar any time, though maybe without the secret mission next time. Deal. They part ways. Donatella walks back to her apartment, climbs the stairs, unlocks the door. The space is exactly as she left it. Sparse. Temporary. She sits at the laptop, opens encrypted channels, types her final report. Operation successful. Target acquired. Network compromised. Standing by for next assignment. She hits send, closes the laptop, lies on the mattress, stares at the ceiling. The breathing continues, 444. But now it's not controlled calm. It's actual rest, the weightlifting, the mission complete. Sleep comes easier than it has in 3 months. Sunday morning arrives with sun burning through fog. Donatella wakes at 8 a.m. The late rise feels decadent after months of 6 a.m. alarms. She makes coffee, sits at the window, watches people walking dogs, couples getting breakfast. Normal life happening outside while her world exists in shadows and clearances. Her phone buzzes. Text from Hayes. Monday debrief confirmed. 0900. Bring coffee. It's going to be a long one. Another text. This one from Cole. Team's doing a beach run at 1100 if you want to join. No pressure, just an invite. She considers. The old instinct says no. Stay separate, maintain boundaries. But the operation is over. The cover is blown. And maybe connection is okay now. Maybe being part of something again is allowed. She texts back. I'll be there. At 11 a.m. she meets Cole and 6 other SEALs at the beach. They run 5 miles along the coast. No one asks about Friday night. No one mentions Marcus or Fergus or undercover operations. They just run. Together. The way warriors do when words aren't necessary. When shared experience says everything. Afterward, they grab food from a taco truck, sit on the sand, watch surfers. Brett shows up, awkward, apologetic. I deleted everything, he says to Donatella. NCIS already told me, but I wanted you to know I'm sorry. For filming, for posting, for not seeing what was actually happening. You didn't know, she says. I should have been smarter. Fergus was the ringleader. You followed. That's different from leading. Still nothing. You're apologizing. That's what matters. Learn from it. Do better next time. He nods, grateful for the grace. He leaves quickly, the discomfort still heavy on him. Cole watches him go. Think he learned? Time will tell. Some people change. Some just get better at hiding. Cynical. Realistic. Fair. They sit in comfortable silence. Eventually, Cole speaks again. Hayes mentioned the network is bigger. Multiple contacts, different branches. This could take years to unravel. Probably. You going to be part of it? If they need me. That's not an answer. Donatella watches waves break against shore. Thinks about tattoos and scars and the cost of service. Thinks about 3 months of abuse and the satisfaction of justice delivered cold. Yes, she finally says. If they need me, I'll go again. Because someone has to. And I know how. Monday morning, 0900. Donatella walks into NCIS field office. Hayes meets her in the lobby, leads her to a conference room. Inside, 3 other agents, a JAG officer, a captain from Naval Special Warfare Command. They spend 4 hours going through everything, every incident, every interaction, every moment documented and analyzed. Marcus's phone gets dissected, the encryption broken, messages extracted. The network maps across 3 countries, 7 contacts, 2 active foreign intelligence officers. The damage assessment takes weeks, but the initial report is clear. If Donatella hadn't stopped it, operational security across multiple theaters would have been compromised. Lives would have been lost. The captain from Nisaldauer's command stands, extends his hand. Petty Officer Harper, on behalf of the command, thank you. What you endured for this mission exemplifies the best of naval special warfare. Your service honors the trident you wear. She shakes his hand. Just doing my job, sir. No, you did far more than that, and we won't forget it. The meeting ends. Hayes walks her out. In the hallway, away from the others, she hands Donatella a thin folder. Manila, unmarked. This arrived this morning. Classified courier. Above my clearance level. Donatella opens it. Inside, a single sheet. Redacted coordinates. A date 3 weeks out. A code phrase. Tower 7 sends regards. What is this? She asks. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's bigger than Marcus. Bigger than this operation. Someone high up thinks you're ready for the next level. Donatella stares at the coordinates. Recognizes the region. Not Middle East. Not Europe. Something else. Something that makes her pulse quicken despite 3 years of controlling her responses. You don't have to take it, Hayes says. You've done enough. Medical discharge means you can walk away. No one would blame you. But I've read your file, all of it, including the classified sections. You're not someone who walks away when there's work to be done, are you? Donatella closes the folder, tucks it under her arm. When do I leave? Hayes smiles. 3 weeks. Report to coordinates on the date specified. Someone will contact you with details. Until then, you're on stand down. Rest. Recover. Prepare. They shake hands. Donatella leaves the building, walks to her car, sits behind the wheel, stares at the folder. 3 weeks until the next mission. 3 weeks to be normal. To sleep in. To not measure every word and gesture. To just exist. She starts the engine. Drives to the anchor. Tom is inside. Cleaning. Prepping for the week. He looks up when she enters. How'd it go? Network's being rolled up. Marcus is cooperating. Fergus got official counseling and probation. Brett's on thin ice but salvageable. The command is implementing new OPSEC protocols, and I have 3 weeks before my next assignment. Tom sets down his rag. Next assignment? She shows him the folder. Not the contents, just the existence. Bigger than this one. Can't talk about it. Dangerous? Probably. Worth it? She thinks about Fergus's face when the tattoo was revealed. About Marcus in handcuffs. About operators who'll never know the threat that was stopped. About missions that succeed in silence while the world keeps spinning oblivious. Yeah, she says. Worth it. Tom nods. Then I'll keep your job open. For when you get back. Might not come back. Then I'll keep it open anyway. Hope's not a strategy, but it's all we've got sometimes. She helps him prep the bar. They work in silence. The routine soothing. At 6 p.m., customers start arriving. The same crowd, different energy. Word has spread despite NCIS scrubbing footage. Rumors circulating. The bartender who was actually undercover DevGru. The operator who played weak to catch a traitor. Details are wrong, but the legend is building. People treat her differently now. Respectful, curious, keeping distance. She serves drinks with the same efficiency, answers questions with minimal words, deflects personal inquiries. The mask is different, but still present. Still necessary. At midnight, Dawson walks in, takes his corner booth, orders whiskey, waits until she brings it before speaking. I heard you're leaving. News travels fast. Small community, people talk. He sips. Where to? Can't say. Dangerous? Can't say that either. But you're going. Yes. He looks at her for a long moment, seeing past the surface, reading the signs that decades of experience taught him to recognize. You're hunting something. Can't confirm that. Don't have to. I know the look. Had it myself back in the day, when the mission mattered more than comfort, more than safety, more than the normal life everyone else got to have. He raises his glass. To the ones who hunt in silence, may your aim be true. She raises her water bottle, touches it to his glass. To the ones who see us, and keep our secrets. They drink, understanding flowing between them, the unspoken bond of people who've served in shadows, who've sacrificed pieces of themselves for missions that never make headlines, who measure success in lives saved rather than medals earned. The weeks pass, Donatella trains, runs, shoots at private ranges, studies languages, memorizes details that might matter. The apartment stays sparse. No point decorating. She won't be back. This chapter is closing, the next one opening. On the last Friday before she leaves, the anchor throws an unofficial goodbye. Not announced. Not official, just people showing up. Cole brings the team. Brett shows up sober with an actual apology that sounds rehearsed but genuine. Tom cooks burgers in the back. Dawson holds court in his corner, telling stories about the old days when operations were run on paper and luck. At midnight, Donatella stands outside in the alley, taking a breath. Hayes finds her there. "You ready?" "As I'll ever be." "Second thoughts?" "Every minute, but I'm going anyway." Hayes hands her a new phone, encrypted. "Contact information for Tower 7. Use it when you arrive at coordinates. They'll brief you in person. Everything else you need to know will come after that." What am I walking into? Something that makes Marcus look like small potatoes. A network that spans governments, that has reach into places we thought were secure. We need someone who can blend, who can endure, who can stay cold when the world is burning around them. That's you. Donatella pockets the phone. "Why me? There are other operators, ones without medical discharges." "Because you proved something Marcus and Fergus and everyone else who underestimated you never understood. Strength isn't noise. It's discipline when no one is clapping. It's endurance when no one's watching. It's staying patient when everyone expects you to break. That's rare. That's valuable. That's why you." They stand in silence, fog rolling in from the coast, the sound of the bar muffled behind closed doors. Two women who've chosen service over comfort, who measure their worth in missions completed rather than lives lived. "Justice isn't loud," Donatella says quietly. "It's patient." Hayes nods. "And sometimes it's a bartender who everyone thought was too soft to matter, until the moment she revealed she was the hardest thing in the room." Inside, Tom rings the bell. Last call. The night winding down. Donatella pushes off the wall, walks back to the bar, serves final rounds, cleans up, goes through the routine one last time. At 3 a.m., she hangs her apron. Tom locks the door. They stand outside under clearing skies. "Don't die," he says. "I'll do my best." That's not reassuring. It's honest. He pulls her into a hug, quick, firm. Make them pay. Whatever you're hunting, make them pay for every operator they put at risk, for every secret they sold, for every life they gambled with. Be the justice they never saw coming. She steps back. That's the plan. 3 days later, she boards a plane, the folder in her bag, the coordinates memorized, the mission briefing waiting at the other end. She doesn't know exactly what's coming, doesn't know if she'll succeed, doesn't know if she'll survive. But she knows why she's going. And that's enough. The plane lifts off, California coastline falling away below, the anchor bar somewhere down there. Tom probably opening for the day. Dawson maybe planning his Friday visit. Cole running morning PT with the team. Fergus learning to be better. Brett trying to do the same. Marcus facing justice in a courtroom he'll never leave. And Donatella, flying toward the next mission, the next fight, the next moment when someone will underestimate her and discover too late that softness was never weakness. It was patience, waiting for the exact right moment to strike. The notebook comes out. She writes one line, not for any report, not for anyone else, just for herself. A reminder of what she's learned, what she's become. They thought silence meant surrender. They were wrong. The plane levels at cruising altitude. She closes the notebook, stares out the window at clouds stretched endless below. Somewhere down there, people are living normal lives, going to jobs that end at 5 p.m., complaining about traffic and weather and things that don't involve coordinates and classified briefings. She used to envy that, the simplicity, the safety, the ability to exist without constant calculation of exits and threats. Not anymore. 3 months behind a bar taught her something valuable. Comfort is a luxury warriors can't afford. Every smile she forced while being mocked, every insult she absorbed without response, every moment she stood there playing weak while tracking Marcus's transmissions, all of it was preparation, not just for that mission, for this one, for every one that comes after. The shrapnel scars ache when pressure changes, phantom pain from wounds that healed wrong. Medical discharge papers say she's not fit for combat operations. But paperwork doesn't understand that some people aren't built for retirement. that some fights don't end just because the body gets damaged. They just change shape, become quieter, more precise, less about physical strength and more about the kind of endurance that comes from refusing to break when breaking would be easier. Tower 7. The name means nothing yet. By next week, it'll mean everything. Another network, another threat, another room full of people who will underestimate the woman in front of them, who will see civilian clothes and calm demeanor and assume weakness. Let them. She's learned the most dangerous operators aren't the ones who announce themselves. They're the ones who wait, who watch, who let arrogance blind their enemies until the moment the trap closes. The flight attendant offers drinks. Donatella orders water, sips slowly. The breathing rhythm continues. 4, 4, 4. A metronome of discipline that carried her through explosions and undercover operations and will carry her through whatever comes next. Justice isn't loud, it's patient. And patience, she's learned, is the sharpest weapon of all.